Okay, year 3. Right, welcome back. Okay, so this is our final paragraph of our clock tower work. Okay, and this is the ending of our story. So for task 2, you are going to write the ending of the story with a focus on adverbs. Okay, so again, we've had a little look at adverbs previously in our writing, but our ending is going to focus on adverbs, and you will see that each of my sentences starts with an adverb of manner. Okay, so we're really thinking about all those different ways we can start our sentences. Okay, and it's an important way of ending a story sometimes, because it's really showing the emotions of the character as we draw our story to a close. Okay, so sentence 1, we're going to think about how does she feel when she's holding the balloon. Okay, because right at the end, as she's spinning and she's watching the world go back to normal, this green balloon floats through the window. Okay, and she gets to hold it. So how do you think she might be feeling when she's holding that balloon? Second sentence, we're going to think about some adverbs to describe the way she dances. Okay, and for our second sentence, we're actually going to use another rule of 3 there. We're going to start with 3 of them rather than 1, just again as another writing technique to really emphasize the point that we're trying to make. Okay, and then our final sentence is going to think about how does she really feel right at the end of this story. So in this final picture down in the right hand corner, how do you think she's feeling as she spins and she watches the fact that the world is now working again because of what she is doing? How do you think she would feel? Okay, so sentence 1, how does she feel when holding the balloon? Okay, so looking at what she looks like right at the end when the balloon floats through her window, and the fact that she went outside to try and get this balloon, I have decided that she is most likely quite happy and quite content when she gets to hold the balloon at the end. Okay, you may not agree, and you may want to change the fact that she's happy at the end, but that's how I've interpreted the story. So for our first sentence, we need to think of some adverbs which show happiness. Okay, now the obvious one is obviously happily. Okay, but there are lots and lots of other synonyms that we can use to show that she is happy in a way where we're using an adverb of manner. So I've given you some examples there. Okay, so cheerfully, contentedly, merrily, cheerily, joyfully, blissfully. Okay, and again, a thesaurus can sometimes be really, really important here, because if you look up happy in the thesaurus, you get lots and lots of different words that mean happy, and you can think about whether you can change them into adverbs that still work. Okay, so we're looking for adverbs that show happiness. All right, and we're going to start our first sentence with one of those. Now, remember the rule: if you are starting a sentence with an adverb, okay, of any type, after it you have to have a comma. Okay, so whatever you choose as your adverb of happiness, make sure when you're writing it's followed by that comma. Okay, so in my example, happily, the woman in the clock tower smiled to herself, holding a balloon in her hand. Okay, so I've told you how she's feeling through my adverb, I've told you what she's doing, and I've told you the fact that she's holding the balloon, which is probably something you need to mention in this sentence because it's the important part of this part of the story. Okay, so you're going to think about the adverb that you were going to start with. If you want to borrow some of the rest of my sentence, that's fine. If you want to use it as a basis and edit and change it, also fine. Okay, but your focus is the adverb to show happiness at the beginning. So that's sentence 1. Sentence 2 is where we are using that rule of 3 to really focus on how she is dancing. Okay, because a big focus, the sort of happy ending at the end, is the fact that she's dancing and spinning as the world goes on around her. Okay, so thinking about some really positive adverbs to show how she dances. Okay, you're not going to use words like clumsily or negatively or creepily. Okay, you're not going to use sort of negative adverbs here, because we're trying to show just that sort of calm and beauty of how we're ending this story. So you're going to think of some positive adverbs to show how she dances. So some examples: gracefully, beautifully, calmly, peacefully, elegantly, smoothly, serenely, delightfully, and pleasingly. Okay, I'm sure you can think of lots of others as well. That's just a list to get you started. And my example sentence: peacefully, gracefully, calmly, she danced in her clockwork dress. Okay, so I've made sure again to mention the fact that she is dancing, otherwise my sentence wouldn't make sense. And I've started with 3 just to make the reader really clear on the fact that she is so beautifully and so smoothly dancing here. Okay, it's really creating that image of just how gracefully she is doing all these things right at the end. Okay, so sentence 1, you're using your adverb to show happiness. Sentence 2, you're going to use 3 adverbs to show really clearly how she is dancing and show that in a positive way. Okay, and then your final sentence of your text is how does she feel right at the end. Okay, now this is more up to you. Okay, because it might be that you've decided she doesn't actually feel that happy. Okay, it might be that she's more peaceful than happy, or more content, or the fact that she's dreaming, and sort of in that serene state of just wonder at the amazingness of what has happened. Okay, so this gives you sort of more freedom of a positive feeling shown through an adverb at the end. So how might she be feeling? So I've said things like dreamily, contentedly, happily, enchantingly, delightfully, peacefully, sedately, and serenely. Okay, again, you can think of lots and lots of others. A thesaurus again is really helpful. If you take one of my words, you can see if there are any other really exciting vocabulary that you could turn into an adverb. But you're thinking about how would she feel right at the end of this story. Okay, right at the end where she's realized that she is the reason that the world around her is going to keep going, and she has this really important job that she has to do to make sure that all that color and all that beauty remains within the world. Okay, and so for my example sentence, I've gone, dreamily she watched the village below her, knowing that she was the key to all that beauty. Okay, so you're sort of ending on the fact that she has realized just how important she is to the village around her. Okay, and the fact that she's sort of watching it go by, knowing that she is that important part. Okay, so then once you've finished task 2, you should have ended with a final paragraph of your story, really showing off your use of adverbs to start sentences. Okay, and making sure that you have remembered every time you started a sentence with an adverb that it must be followed by a comma. Okay, make sure you've got that punctuation really, really well done. So, happily, the woman in the clock tower smiled to herself, holding a balloon in her hand. Peacefully, gracefully, calmly, she danced in her clockwork dress. Dreamily, she watched the village below her, knowing that she was the key to all that beauty. Okay, and then that would be the end of the story. Right, thank you, Year 3. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please feel free to share your endings of your stories with us on Twitter and with your class teachers. I've really enjoyed working through this unit with you, and I shall speak to you again soon. Bye, guys.